I've never been superstitious. Ghosts, spirits, urban legends, I always thought they were just stories told to scare kids. But that changed one summer night when I went camping in the Pine Creek forest. My name is Sia, and this is something I wish I could forget, but I never will. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend escape. I had just finished a stressful semester and needed a break. My best friend Nitty and I decided to go camping, just the two of us. We picked a remote spot deep in the woods, far from the usual campgrounds. Nitty found the location online. It was cheap, quiet, and apparently, untouched. Now I understand why. We arrived late in the afternoon. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches hanging low like they were listening. The campsite was beautiful, surrounded by thick pine trees with a small stream nearby. The forest air smelled fresh, and birds chirped all around. For a few hours, everything felt perfect. As the sun began to set, we built a small fire, roasted some marshmallows, and laughed about silly college drama. Around 9 p.m., a cold wind picked up out of nowhere. It was odd because the weather forecast had said it would be warm all weekend. Then the noises started. At first, it was subtle. Twigs snapping, like someone, or something, was walking just beyond the tree line. We thought it might be a deer or raccoon, but when we pointed our flashlight into the trees, nothing was there. We shrugged it off and got into our tent, thinking we were just being paranoid. At around midnight, I woke up to a soft whispering sound. It wasn't the wind. It was too deliberate, too close. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like a woman's voice, murmuring, repeating something. I froze in my sleeping bag. My heart was pounding. I reached over to wake Nitty, but she was already sitting up, pale-faced. "You hear it too?" she whispered. We sat there, paralyzed, listening. The whispering seemed to be circling our tent, moving slowly. Then, it stopped. Complete silence. Just as we began to relax, we heard 3 distinct taps on the tent wall. Tap, 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 we screamed. I grabbed the flashlight and unzipped the tent. I swung the light around, but again, nothing. No footprints, no animals, no sign of anyone. Just that awful silence. We debated leaving, but it was pitch dark and we didn't want to get lost in the forest. We stayed in the tent, holding hands, trying not to sleep. Sometime after 3 a.m., Nitty suddenly gasped. I turned to her, and she was pointing toward the tent door. There was a shadow. A tall, human-shaped shadow, standing completely still just outside the tent. We didn't breathe. We didn't move. Then it vanished, like smoke. That was it. We packed our bags in record time and ran to the car without looking back. As we drove away, my headlights flashed over the edge of the forest. For just a second, I saw something. A woman, standing between the trees, wearing a white dress. Her head was tilted unnaturally to one side, and her eyes were glowing. We didn't stop until we reached the main road. Back in the city, we did some digging. We found out that the Pine Creek Forest was once home to a small village in the early 1900s. A woman named Shania, accused of witchcraft, was said to have been banished to the woods by the villagers. Rumor says she died alone there, cursing anyone who dared enter her forest. Many locals believe her spirit still roams those woods, especially on nights when the wind turns cold without warning. I don't know what we saw or heard that night. Maybe it was a spirit. Maybe it was something else. But I do know this. I will never go camping again.